Welcome to the Gifts for Glory podcast, where we celebrate and promote men and women using their gifts for God's glory. Know someone who is making an impact for God's kingdom using their gifts, talents, and passions? We'd love to meet them. Send us an email at podcast@giftsforglory.com. That's podcast@gifts4glory.com. And now here is our host, Dave Ebert.
Hello, friends and neighbors, and welcome to the latest edition of the Gifts for Glory podcast. Really excited to have you along with us this Wednesday, whether you're watching us live on the Gifts for Glory page, or you're catching us on social media, other places, or you're watching on the Creative Motion Network on Roku, or listening on the Taken TV network, or your favorite podcast platform. I'm really thankful for everyone for joining us each and every week. And if you like what we're doing and what we're about, we would love for you to consider supporting us through our Patreon page. Just go to patreon.com /gifts for glory. That's patreon.com/gifts for glory. Want to thank our monthly sponsor, Simply Felicity Media, and the Black Conservative Female Show, hosted by Felicity Joy. Thank you so much, Felicity. You see the ticker going across the bottom. That's where you can find her shows. They're also broadcasting on the Creative Motion Network. So just thank you to Felicity. Thank you to everybody else that supports and watches the show. We really definitely appreciate you hanging out with us each and every week. And as you know, if you've been here before, we kick off each show with our Devotions with Dave segment. Today's Devotion with Dave segment is going to come from Psalm 33, verse 12. And that passage says, "What joy for the nation whose God is the Lord, whose people he has chosen as his inheritance." And with us going right into the 4th of July holiday weekend coming up, I wanted to pick a verse to remind us as a nation that we have an eternal source of joy if we would just turn the nation back over to his control. One of the hardest things to do sometimes is trust God with our money, but God providentially put his own name on our money. In God we trust. And we need to live by that and truly trust God, because as the Psalms tell us, what joy for the nation whose God is the Lord, whose people he has chosen as his inheritance. So let us get back to that. Let's get back to God. Let's get back to the point where in God we trust is more than just a motto. It's a way we live. It's a way we believe. And we can find and restore and see God restore the joy in our nation. So I just want to encourage you this 4th of July weekend, let's truly, truly become a nation in that we truly believe in God we trust. So that was our Devotions with Dave segment coming from Psalm 33:12. And I just encourage you every single day, spend some time with God, spend some time in the Word with him, and you would definitely be blessed by it. And that's why we open each show with our Devotions with Dave segment. Now let's get on to our interview. On this week's Gifts for Glory podcast, we welcome Barry Alsobrook. He's the CEO of the Taken TV network. We're going to be talking about his faith, about entertainment, the importance of using our gifts for God's glory. Be sure to connect with the Taken TV Network on Facebook. You can find them at Taken TV Network 777. That's at Taken TV Network 777. And find out more information about their streaming shows and platforms available at takennetwork.tv. We're going to be talking about this and a whole lot more. So if you would please welcome my guest at this time, Barry Alsobrook. Barry, welcome to the Gifts for Glory podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
I'm really excited to have you on because we met through Facebook, and by happenstance, I was able to be in Florida for a great event, and we were able to cross paths, hang out with John Nicholas, who was on the show earlier this spring, and got to meet you in person. And it was just a phenomenal event that we met at the Wingmen barbecue back in, I believe that was March. This year's gone by.
Yeah, I think it was March.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I said, yeah, that was a great event. We got to listen to Justin Furnell, the comedian, and hear from Jonathan.
Evans.
I'm forgetting the name. The pastor's son. He's also the chaplain for the one of the football teams. Yes.
Yeah, his dad, everybody knows Tony Evans.
Yeah, Jonathan Evans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some reason I was just.
There was something. There was something in your mind that's like Jonathan Edwards, but no, we weren't sinners in the hand of an angry God at that moment, and he definitely wasn't a former politician.
Or my host of Hands and Feet of Jesus, Jonathan Nicholas, that you just
Right.
mentioned. Jonathan Torment. I know a lot of Jonathans. So.
Yeah. So it was a great event, and it was awesome to meet you in person there that weekend. And one of the reasons we're connecting is I really want people to know more about the Taken TV network. So tell us a little bit about it, how it started, and how people can find it.
Well, it's pretty incredible. I mean, back in May of last year during COVID, I just had a dream about a network. I had an idea for a TV show. I've had it for probably 7 or 8 years, this idea that I wanted to do the Hands and Feet of Jesus show. Different things in my life had led me to want to do that. Different, how God sends you down different paths at different times. I worked on this project that kind of gave me a little bit of it. And then I worked on another project, kind of gave me a little bit of it. And then church had a thing called the Dollar Club, and where they gave $1, during, maybe every 2 or 3 months, they would just say, put $1 in. When you got a church of about 30, 40,000 people, that dollar goes a long way. So they had the Dollar Club, and what they would do is they would find a family in need or somebody, and the church would either build an addition to the house, fix a roof, or whatever might need to be done. So all that and projects I had worked on in the past just all came together, and Hands and Feet of Jesus just came. So I'd been just kind of dealing with wanting to do that for like 2 years, and but never thought about doing a network. But just in the middle of the night, I have this dream, and I'm up on the couch at like 3 o'clock in the morning writing down TV shows, and I saw like the acronym of the word Taken, but I didn't know what it stood for. So I was trying to figure that out, and at first I kind of got it wrong, but then later on God gave it to me the correct way, which was the Active Kingdom Entertainment Network. But I always saw the word Taken, and he gave me that before he actually gave me the name of the network. And so that was pretty wild. So within 2 months, the network was going. It was up and running, and we have some pretty good shows on there right now. Have ministries from all across the country that we're showcasing on there. One of the big ones is the Christian View. And then, of course, we have our own. We have a few of our own shows that we're doing. Cooking, again, the Hands and Feet of Jesus. We're working on that. We're still working on kind of tuning that into what we really want to be a show of really helping people and showcasing ministries at the same time, showcasing the ministries while they help people. And then another show that we're planning on working on is called Rescuing Our Children. And that show is, think about, John Walsh years ago when he had America's Most Wanted. Well, we want like an America's Most Wanted for crimes against children, stuff dealing with human trafficking and things that just go on in the school system, and different things that are just, just messing with the kids, messing with their minds or whatever. So we want to be able to showcase some of that. And we have a gentleman that's investigative reporter that's going to be helping us with that show, and so he's already got like 100 cases that we could just dig into right now. But again, it's all we're waiting for the funds and so forth.
Sure. So how do you go about just starting a network? I know that God kind of set things in motion along the way, but
He did.
How does that go from concept to all of a sudden you're on Roku, you're online, and the different platforms? What's that process like?
Well, it was a lot of research, a lot of looking at different companies and stuff that provide the service, and then narrowing it down to the one that I wanted to use. So yeah, and then a lot of trial and error and a lot of mistakes too, So it's kind of cool about a future project that we have that we're working on now called WIN TV, World Inspiration Network, we're going to be bringing in people that want to start their own network too, help them out. But we're going to provide training, which none of the previous network or providers that I've worked with in the past, actually, they just kind of said, well, here's your channel, go do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a few training videos on there, but not really good training. So when we do WIN TV, World Inspiration Network, we're going to have really good training for people that want to do a channel.
And that also is going to invite a little bit more buy-in, because if you have somebody just throwing up content, they can throw up the content and not even worry about it, just say it's there. But when they're trained and they learn how it can benefit the overall network as well as their own product, there's going to be a bigger buy-in. There's going to be more feedback, and there's going to be better opportunities for God to use it, I believe.
Absolutely. And hopefully their success rate will be good, because they'll know, what to do. They'll know how to actually fund the network too. Mm-hmm. That's been the biggest problems here is, learning how to fund this, too.
So the Christian View, it's a really great show with a panel discussion all the time. How did you connect with them?
That was awesome. That was through that, again, connections. They're great. But going to the International Christian Film Festival in Orlando back in 2018, one of the very first people that I connected with, it's just incredible, was Cameron Arnett.
Oh, and wow, yeah.
we just developed a friendship right there, and then maybe fast forward, I don't even think it was a year, but maybe 8 or 9 months, he was premiering a movie, the one he did about the space shuttle that crashed, Discovery, one of those, Challenger, I believe it was, and they were premiering it in Georgia, and I just happened to be visiting my family in Georgia at the time, and so I heard about it. So I got tickets to go, and I was introduced to Dr. Trudy there through Cameron, and we met. And then, of course, when ICFF rolled around again, we met there, and so the connection just kind of bloomed and became friends.
Oh wow, yeah. Actually, you bring up two people that are actually future guests here on the podcast.
Oh, awesome.
In a couple of weeks, Dr. Trudy, who's a host of her own show, as well as kind of the main host of the Christian View. She's going to be on here July 14th, which is in about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then Cameron and BJ Arnett are going to be guests in August as well.
Awesome.
Talk about, because one of the things that he is also in, totally tangential and rabbit trail, a movie that's coming out later this year called Don't Say My Name, which is a trafficking film filmed and put together by 24 Flicks. So I'm really looking forward to see that movie because it's something that I think needs awareness raised. And I also want to just plug it here real quick because I want everyone to be able to look out for that film. It's supposed to be out later this fall.
Yeah,
It was actually.
I actually worked on that film too.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. Yeah. I worked and did set photography and was there during some amazing scenes between Cameron and Brooklyn. And just I saw some amazing stuff. Yeah. So I was there for about half the filming. And,
okay.
And that's great. Yeah. And that's actually what turned me on to finding out more about human trafficking, being at that movie. And since working on that movie, I have been part of an organization in West Palm that fights human trafficking. I go to their meetings. Before COVID, I was going to their meetings every month. And my church had a training seminar on human trafficking. I went through that. And so they're excited about the movie too, this organization. And, the ways that it could possibly be used.
So it was actually screened at the ICFF in May.
Yes.
Did you get to see the final product then?
Yes. They still, they're still working on it, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good. So definitely looking forward to that. Talking to Cameron about that in a few weeks. And I've got your page for event photography services, because not only you brought up a moment ago, you did some set photos and photos there. You also do photography professionally, so you've got a great creative eye, and that in some ways is lending itself to how you're creating the Taken Network and then Win TV later this year.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I started in photography back right out of college. I took some photography classes, but it wasn't my major. But I stayed in it, started out doing children's photography, then actually had my own children's photography business for a while, and then moved into just doing event photography, corporate event. And we had some, what do we call concessions at different businesses and stuff, where we had photographers working, doing souvenir photos. We did all that. But lately we've been just doing the event photography. We also bought a couple of photo booths, so we have those for events too. Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun. I'm doing it for 30 years. So, yeah.
You have not been out of college for 30 years.
I know. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, longer. But it's funny though. My very first time, like in really kind of using a camera, was a video camera, and that was back at my church in Jacksonville for 2 years. So I did run camera in church and learned about that. But kind of dropped the video camera and picked up the photo camera for quite a few years, and now I'm picking the video camera back up. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're talking about your history. You've been out of college for a number of years. When you graduate college, is that around the time that your faith journey started, or does it start further back? Were you in a Christian home growing up?
Not really a Christian home. I went through a pretty tumultuous time as a child. At 6, my parents divorced, and my mom moved us to Florida. And my rest of my dad's family and her family still lived in Georgia. And my mom and dad, they fought a lot. They were very they just weren't happy people. And my dad had to have his children. There was me and my sister. And so he forcibly took me and my sister from my mom. And it being a small town that he was from at the time, and my dad was a well-known businessman in the town. He had some influence there. And so he actually kept us from my mom.
Oh, man.
Legally, not so legally, but, through that town, he was able to do it for a couple of years. But my grandmother, we stayed with her most of the time. So my dad fought to have us, but then we stayed with my grandmother a lot. But she was a very Christian woman, very loved the Lord and everything. So we were always in church, and I did commit my life to the Lord when I was 7. But of course, changing back and forth and everything, at 7, you really don't really, I guess some people maybe do, but I didn't really know what I was committing myself to,
Sure.
At the time. And so we went back with my mom and go back with my dad, go back with my mom. It was a crazy, up till about the time I was 12 years old, we did that back and forth. And so I really wasn't following the Lord up until about 18. And then I got involved with the church in Jacksonville when I was going into college, and got real involved, and then moved away from there and kind of actually fell away, as an adult. And then fast forward, I hate to say it, but like 20 something years, and going through some really hard times financially, and in my relationship with my wife and everything, and just fell flat on my face, and I was down at the lowest point of my life, and there was I couldn't go down any further. And so I started looking for the Lord, and the Lord pulled me out of the hole that I was in, and restored my marriage and restored everything, and just so, and that was about 9 years ago. And so I've been on fire since then. follow the Lord. Yeah.
Do you look back and think that even though you didn't quite understand, and who at 7 truly understands faith and what it means when you make the commitment, do you look back and think that you were saved at that point? It took a while for the seed to really blossom? Or do you think that 8-9 years ago was really when you found that relationship?
No, I think I was saved at 7. I really do, but I just think the grace of God just kept me. It just kept me. Because the things that I did, and it's just not explainable unless there was a supernatural force taking care of me, So I know that throughout my years, even when I wasn't following the Lord, He was with me. I may not have been following Him, but He was following me, and He protected me at so many times. There were so many times that I could be dead or whatever, but the Lord was there to protect me, and I mean, I even have stories of what I believe were, and I don't know if we have time for this, but I even have a story where I believe an angel rescued me from an accident at one time.
Wow.
When I wasn't even serving the Lord. But it was amazing. There's no other explanation, no other explanation for this. But it was just amazing. Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to, go ahead and tell us.
Man, I love this story. Well, I was working in a photography company. I was in Florida, and we were actually living. I was living in St. Petersburg, so I was traveling over here to where I live now, in this area, to West Palm, and the company I worked for, we would carry our equipment and go to different locations and shoot children's photography, and so there was about 10 of us. So there was going to the West Palm area to work at various locations. And so we were kind of like a caravan, you might say, following. And I was the very last one. I didn't drive as fast as some of these people did. And I'm called the old man driver sometimes, But so I was kind of the last one in the pack here. And I had a friend of mine who was another photographer. She was considerably older than me at the time, and she was a confirmed atheist. I mean, she would not talk about me. She told everybody she met, almost like, "Hello, I'm an atheist." That's how bad she was. So we're driving along about 60, 70 miles an hour on Highway 70, which is basically a deserted area in the middle of Florida. It's a 2-lane road. And there's like swamps on both sides of the road. Basically you got like you got the 2 lanes and you got swamps on both sides, kind of like. So driving out, and I lost sight of the cars in front of me. And all of a sudden I start to lose control of the vehicle because my back tire, my driver's back tire actually came off the vehicle.
Oh no.
Off the vehicle. Okay, so I'm struggling to hold the car in place. And there's a semi heading right for us on the other lane, and I'm in the other lane because I can't control. I'm swerving back and forth. She's screaming, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God," even though she's doesn't believe in God. So so finally I got back in the right lane and got the vehicle stopped, and I kind of pulled it over on the side of the road, and I go out there and look, my tire's gone, but I actually saw it in the rearview mirror just going, and I could see where it went into one of the swamps. So we said, well, let's go see what happened. So after a few minutes of us breathing for a while, we walked down the road and find the tire. So I actually went swamp swimming and got a little bit in there and got my tire out, and the tire was fully inflated. All of the lug nuts were in there. Was it still inside the thing? So I go back and I says, I don't know what happened, why this tire came off. But so I get the jack out, but we're in soft sand. So I'm trying to jack the car up, but it's really digging a hole in the ground instead of lifting the car up. So about that time, I see this. I look up and I see this old truck that looks like a 57 or something Chevy, old rusted kind of truck coming at us. You're coming toward us, and it comes past us, and then it makes a U-turn and pulls back, and out of that truck jumps a lady. Again, she looks like she's in her 60s or 70s at the time, and I'm in my early 20s at the time when this happened. So she jumps out and she said, God told me that somebody needed help around here. And I said, okay. My friend's like giving me this weird look, and all this stuff. And I said, okay. And so I said, yeah, I can't get it to jack up because it's going in the dirt. And she goes, she whips out this lady whips out one of those big old huge hydraulic jacks out of the back of her car. And she won't let me do it. She jacks up my car, puts the tire on, and says, and then she says, yes, God told me that you needed help, and and the angels are watching over you, or something like, I don't remember the exact words that she used.
Mm-hmm.
But so she goes back the way she came. So it's like she made a U-turn and goes back the same way she came from. Okay. Well, we get in the car after just kind of looking at each other, what happened, and we go, and we don't get a mile ahead of us, and the other 8 cars that we were following were stopped on the side of the road, and one of them had 2 flat tires on the middle road. So they're there. And between where I was and where there was, again, swamps on both sides of the road, there's no place to turn for her to go left or right. And they did not see a truck.
Oh, wow.
They never saw a truck pass them. Yeah.
It's just interesting, like you said, this devout atheist starts screaming, "Oh my God, oh my God!"
Yeah, exactly.
It's that old saying that there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole.
Yeah. But I got one other thing that blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if you ever follow Sid Roth. You ever seen him on there? It's Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, a couple of years ago, my wife and I were looking at it, and they talk about people that experienced angels. Well, guess what the angels were driving?
A truck?
Exact same truck that I saw.
Wow.
The people reported seeing an angels, and they reported the exact same vehicle that I saw. And I saw that just a couple of years ago. So that just blows my mind.
So did your coworker, did she remain full-on atheist? Or
it wasn't long after that I left that job. But at that point, but it was, it was. But I think that had some kind of ministry. Who knows what happened to her in the future? Because I'm sure she'll remember that the rest of her life, because that was a pretty scary experience.
Yeah. As my wife is here in the room, she was saying that experience was meant for her.
Yeah, I believe it was. Well, wake me up too. Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. It's always awesome to hear that there's so many that are maybe kind of lull to sleep thing. Yeah, the Bible, once John finished the book of Revelation, God stopped working. But here we are 2020 years later, he is still working. He's still sending his angels. Yeah, we have the Bible, which is canon, and it's not to be added or taken away from. But God is still God, and he's still working.
He is.
He's still got angels. And so that's an awesome story. Anytime that we can share and just give God glory that, he's still alive, he's still working, he's still paying attention. We definitely want to make sure we share those stories.
Yeah. I love that story. I mean, it's amazing. I'll never forget it.
So, and it's impressive that it happened in such a way that you could put the wheel back on, because you think that if the lug nuts had come off, or if it had come off, either the lug nuts were gone or the post had broken off and there would be no way to remount.
They were all there.
So God was trying to get her attention.
I think so.
Little tap.
Yeah, exactly.
But then there's some people that, they just they refuse. It's like the old joke about the guy that was praying, said, if you're real, save me from this, this ocean, because he'd fallen overboard. A speedboat came by. He's like, no, if God wants me to be rescued, he'll rescue me. Helicopter comes by. And he's like, no, if God wants to rescue me, he'll rescue me. Eventually he gives out, he dies, and he drowns. He goes up and says, God, why didn't you save me? He said, well, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. Just sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. That's nuts.
So, man, that's powerful, and that's awesome how God worked. And, he sealed you in many ways at 7 years old. And it took a while before that seed really got to the fertile soil that God needed.
It did.
But like you said, for the last 8-9 years, you've been on fire, and You're using your experiences, your connections. You've created the Taken TV network. Win TV is coming out later this year, and it just shows that God is on the move, and He's trying to use entertainment and information that is often used against the gospel, but He's trying to now redeem it through Taken TV, through PureFlix, through 24 Flix. And I just think that it's awesome that you're part of this new revolution of making sure that the market is saturated with good, healthy, and safe options.
Amen. Yeah. It's been amazing. Again, it all inspired through going to ICFF for the first time in 2018, and just meeting and all the Christian actors and everybody involved in the business, and just saying, wow, this is just so awesome. More Christians need to know about this, so that not just for the Christians, but so they can share it with their family, and then their families that are not Christians can watch it and get saved, and get turned on to the Lord and all. But it's just, yeah.
So at what point did you and our friend John Nicholas, when did you guys connect and start working together on the Hands and Feet of Jesus show and the different projects you have going on?
Well, again, we connected I believe we met the first time at ICFF 2018. Okay. Then we really connected a little more at 19. And then through Don't Say My Name, they had a big fundraising event. And I spoke to John there, and he felt the words that he said the words I spoke to him really ministered to him, and the same, it was kind of a two-way thing too. I felt the same way. And then whenever it came to the reality that, hey, we can do Hands and Feet of Jesus, he was he was one of the main people that I thought about, and that I felt like God had shown me. And so, I approached him on it. He prayed about it, and here we are.
Now he's relocated. He's no longer in Florida. So right. Has that changed anything about your relationship, or are you guys still completely on board with Taken? How is that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're working out how we'll work it. But yeah, no, everything's still definitely on board. I mean, we went to NRB together.
Yeah.
And so that was really good. We met some wonderful people and made some great connections, for both Taken Network and for his acting career and his comedy career. Yes.
So one of the guys that he and I are both connected to, Maurice Brown. We've been on.
Oh, he's awesome. I got to meet Maurice too. Yes. Yeah. Really good.
Yeah, I saw some pictures and I'm like, man, I need to get to Orlando for ICFF. I need to get to Dallas for NRB. I need to become independently wealthy and have the cattle on 1,000 hills, so I can start going out to these places and hanging out with you guys, with all the cool people.
Well, Content's coming up. That's going to be in Texas coming up 2000. I think it's end of September. I don't know. It's in September, I believe. And that's going to be really good. I think that's where we're really going to make some big announcements for Win TV also.
Nice. Yeah. That's very awesome. So for those that are watching, here is the link to find Win TV, wintv.world, WINTV.world, to find out some of the preliminary information. As you said, as we get closer to fall, closer to the launch, more stuff's going to be coming out, but want to encourage everybody to start checking it out, and also consider and pray about either sponsoring towards the network, or consider bringing your program or creating a program for wintv.world, because it's not going to be just a network. It's going to be almost an entire cable service designed for people of faith, for families, yes, and giving that giant plethora of options in for families.
Absolutely. That's what we're so excited about. It's going to have news. It's going to have weather, have sports, and of course all your movies, TV shows, and all the stuff that you watch on secular TV. So you'll never have to. Maybe for local news might be the only reason you would change from. You would ever want to change from WIN TV to secular TV, because we're going to have it all. So that Christians can stay. Parents don't have to worry about their kids watching a commercial for Viagra or something like that. That's not going to be on there, I guarantee you.
Right.
So and they're not. So we're just excited about that. It'll be a faith-friendly network that has that believes in the commandments of God. The 10 Commandments and all that. So it's going to be good.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing that launch. And like I said, it's so amazing to see so many. This is literally a revolution happening where there's so much faith-based content coming, so much faith-based services out there. Because he also had PAX TV, which launched earlier this year, 24 Flicks. So there's variety out there, and there's stuff that's been around for a little bit, but now they're starting to ride that wave too. So really, families, there's no excuse to really allow some of the poisoning imagery into your home anymore, because there's a real revolution coming out where there's plenty of stuff that doesn't involve all that negativity and all that poisonous imagery.
Exactly. Yeah. Just so glad we're going to be able to do that.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to WIN TV coming out, and also encourage everybody to like and follow Taken TV Networks on Facebook at Taken TV Network 777. Subscribe to them on Roku. I've got that's where I watch The Christian View. You might even recognize a familiar face on a particular comedy show that's on Taken TV. Also, our friend John Nicholas, he's got some of his stuff. He's got a prophetic TV show as well as a Hands and Feet of Jesus show. So a lot of great stuff on Taken TV, and it's only going to get bigger and better with the launch of WIN TV coming out later this fall at the end of 2021. So
absolutely.
So with all that said, it is now time for our first of our final two segments. This is called The Interrogation. 7 quick questions that otherwise wouldn't have fit in the rest of the interview. So most of them are going to be softball. So I know you're in Florida, but no reason to break out into any cold sweats right now. So here we go with The Interrogation. First question. What is 4th of July this weekend? What is your favorite cookout food?
Oh, favorite cookout food. Ribs, maybe. I love ribs.
That's a good choice.
Ribs and fish, yeah.
Question number 2. What makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh? My family, my wife, my friends. Just life.
Nice. Question number 3. I know that between NRB, the ICFF, and the different things that you've been going to, you've met some pretty well-known people. Who has been somebody that you have been most excited to meet?
Oh, wow. Well, one of the ones I was really looking forward to, because we just finished up a Bible study with her, and I was so excited to actually get to meet her, was Priscilla Shire. Again, another Tony Evans' daughter that we were talking about earlier. Yeah. So I was really excited about meeting her, and of course, everybody's excited about meeting Dallas Jenkins. And with The Chosen. So that was good. That was good.
Yeah. Question number 4. Maybe a little bit tougher. What do you regret?
What do I regret? Not getting my relationship back with the Lord sooner. Definitely. Not having the Lord in my life sooner.
Question number 5. We didn't really talk much about your family, but your wife's name is Laura. Yes. What's a quirk that you have that Laura teases you about?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of. Oh gosh, Oh, all right. I should call her. No. Wow. Wow. I think I'm one. That's good. I don't know. Sometimes I pump the brakes too much when I'm driving. Like she says, I'm well, not necessarily the brakes, but the gas pedal. It kind of shifts a little bit when I'm driving, so it kind of makes the car go like that. She says I do that. I don't.
You're like, I'm just driving, hon. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I don't know. It's just going. What is it? No. You don't like it?
All right. Question number 6. What's a talent that you have that very few people know about?
Oh, wow. Talent that I have that very few people know about. Wow. It's definitely not singing. Oh, wow. That's a good one. I love to fish. I'm a good fisherman, I guess.
Okay.
I like to fish.
All right. So the final question of the interrogation, what would be or what is your dream project to create, whether it's a movie, show, or an event? What would be your dream project?
To get the hands and feet of Jesus going, to get it the way we want to do it, where we're showcasing the ministries and helping families in need. That is my dream. It's been my dream for about 8 years. Okay. To be able to do that, to be able to get, to be able to demonstrate the love of Christ to this world, for people to see, for unsaved people to see that the body of Christ really does care, and that we're not we don't just go to church on Sunday and sit in the pews and sing a few songs and listen to a message, but we're the church, 7 days a week, not just one day. And we want to, we want to be the hands and feet of Jesus. That's I want to see that show. I want to see people affected by that. There's a song that if anybody has any connections with Casting Crowns, I want that song Here and Now for the theme song for the show. But if you listen to that song Here and Now, and I've listened to it probably 100 times and never really listened to it. Mm-hmm. But not too long ago, Laura had to go into a store and pick up something, and I sat out in the car and I had the radio on, and I was searching for my theme song for the show. As in my mind, and so I was listening intently to everything I heard, and then I heard that song, and I said, it's like I heard it for the first time. And that song is the hands and feet of Jesus. I mean, it describes the show to a T. And and if you just listen to that song, it's amazing. I want to create that song.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, Barry Alsobrook, the CEO of Taken TV Network, and also Event Photography Services. And also coming soon at the end of this year, look out for Win TV. You can find out more at wintv.world. Please consider sponsoring and or joining with a program on the network when that launches later this year. But Barry, the final question I ask for every guest is simple, but it can also be a challenge. For anyone that wants to step up and use their gifts for God's glory, their gifts, their talents, their passions, their experiences, what is your wise counsel for that person?
I guess my wise counsel would be what I've heard a lot already on here, but would be to start. Just step out and start. Start small. I mean, because don't think you're going to be leading a church or whatever, right off the bat. Some people do, I guess, but start out small. Give you an example. Going to ICFF, the first time I just connected with all the people in the entertainment in that industry. And I was kind of high. I use the word high, but I was kind of high on that, and it was, really excited about it. And I go back to church and And the next thing, I'm actually in a cart with like a golf cart with one of the pastors that I didn't really know yet, and he led the groups. And so I'm telling him about all this, and he said, "Well, you need to lead a group. You know, you need to lead a group." But I didn't know, was I supposed to lead a photography group or should I lead a movie group? And God told me, you need to lead a movie group because you've got these connections now and all. And so I did that, and then as a way to communicate, after a couple of months, as a way to communicate to people in the group, I started a Facebook page called Christian Movie Night. And now there's over 2,000 people on Christian Movie Night, and and the group doesn't even, I'm not even doing the group anymore, but people get all kinds of information about new movies, about new projects, and all kinds of stuff off of Christian Movie Night. And I've made so many contacts of different people in the industry that have contacted me through that page. So it's amazing. So it just started off from just a little 20 people, and now it's 2,000 people.
Wow. And for those that are watching either on social media right now or on the Creative Motion Network, I'm going to put up the link to that group that you started, that started with just a few people and is now up to over 2,000. Facebook.com/groups/about 12 digits. So it's now on the screen, but it'll also be in the show notes for anybody that's listening. So that's some excellent wise counsel, and just do it. Go out, and I always tell people, or not always, but whenever I talk about taking a risk for Jesus, taking a risk for God, if you go out there and you fall flat on your face, you're in the perfect position because you're on your face before the King, and he can lift you back up.
Amen.
So, Barry, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully the interrogation wasn't too painful, and we're really looking forward to see Win TV, and we're really excited about everything happening with Taken, with the Taken TV network. So thank you so much for joining us this week on the Gifts for Glory podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
All right, we'll see you guys. Actually, we won't see you guys next week. Next week will be pre-recorded. We're going to have Mimi Sagadan next week. She's an actress. She is in the movie that's coming out later on this year, Pulled from Darkness, filmed right next door in Indiana. We're going to talk to her about her acting career, her faith. So that will be pre-recorded next week. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to be live with Dr. Trudy from the Christian View. So it's going to be a great episode the next 2 weeks. I hope you're blessed. You stay hydrated, stay cool this summer, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us.